University of Kenya in 2013, was past chairman of the Board of Trustees for United States International University USIU, and is the current chancellor of USIU Africa. He has been awarded honorary doctorates by 6 universities: University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, Kenya Methodist University, Technical University of Kenya, KCA University and United Graduate College. Thank you so much for having us in your home today. As we begin this conversation, I want to ask you, where did your journey begin? I mean, we've known you as this tycoon, as somebody who spanned, various industries, and you've built so many companies and a whole legacy, really. So how did it all begin, and how has the journey been?
When I look the 70 years of my life in business,
yeah,
I find how we started, what struggles we went through, how we overcome them, how we improved ourselves, how to improve our vision of things. It's interesting to go back and see, oh my God, a graduate from a family, having a master's in engineering from the United States. And what a difference. Mother illiterate, father only 3 vernacular. And here I am. And it was a joint family, about 45 people, or 40 people maybe at that time. And when we came in 1951, fresh from the United States, with ideas and thoughts which had changed over time. I did my first degree in India.
Okay.
I did my high school in India. And when I still remember, it was 1940s. I was just coming out of the ship. There was a ship from Mombasa to Mumbai. And it just flashed on our mind. Hey, look at the buildings. 7, 8, 9 stories buildings. Look at the avenues. Look at the double-decker buses going around. And for the first time, seeing a tram in the center of the city, a rail is going. And we kept on asking that, hey, what's wrong with us? We look like the same as the other people, the people over here. And why this? And that started the first impression. Hey, there's so much that we are not doing, which we need to do. And this is where we come back. And we found that it is a possibility. It's a lot of sacrifice that you got to give to get something. There is no way I could live in a different style and not being able to manage this.
So you've carried on that philosophy, and you've said this.
Yeah, that philosophy remained really in our head. That look, you have a reason, you have a capacity, you have a possibility. Now, it's up to you to use it. And the basis was simplicity and sacrifice, that whatever is needed has to be done.
So, you've talked about the simplicity and the humility and living in a way that is not extravagant. And, right now in many parts of the world, we see this adoption of minimalism, reducing the number of possessions you have, and the clutter that is physically there also serves to mentally provide clarity when it's less. So, how do you arrive at that point where you say the acquiring of material things is no longer of importance? It's not something that signifies my success.
Well, let me give you some simple example. I never thought that I'll be able to stay home for 1 week. without doing anything. This is now 18th week going. I haven't been out of that gate. You know, we can all mend ourselves and create ourselves the way it is required. But we are not prepared to many a times. We want to revolt against it, and we don't want to do it. And to me, the thought of setting up something in our mind, and when I joined, it was 40 people, 6 members of the family, one little plant in Mombasa.
So you began with that plant?
Yeah, yeah. And when you go home, there are 35 people at home.
Yeah.
So the question was very clear in our mind that unless we grow, and we got everything that's required to grow. We have a good family, we got a good graduation, graduate means we got good education, we got family which supports us, we got a little unit to start with. So we got everything going for us.
And what year was this?
51.
And what did you start with manufacturing?
So for years. Yeah. And so over a period of time we agreed 40 is not going to be the number. 40 became 60, 60 became 100, 100 became 200, 200 became 300. And in 4 years' time, we were 400 people working. Now, it required a lot of sacrifice on our side. There was no Saturdays, there was no Sundays. Every day, early morning 6 and 6:30, you are at the plant. Open the gate, go inside, and start manufacturing and marketing. So it was a start, it was thinking that is it possible for us to grow?
So you know what happens in today's time is that young people, they want success very fast. There's this impatience that's rampant within this generation where you don't want to have to work for so hard for too long. You want it much quicker. So what would your seasoned experience in business, of course, what would be your top 3 pieces of advice to entrepreneurs right now who are starting out and who want success?
Yeah, the point is that you cannot be a graduate without going through those steps. You go to give, you go to work. Nothing comes just automatically. Nothing comes and says, oh, it's going to happen. But then in this race, and so were we also in the race, and so we had to expand. And I said that we became about 400 people. So I think it was 1953. We told our parents, Papa, it seems that we are turning the corner. From 40 people, we are now 250 people. How about setting up a Chandaria Foundation? And he said, for what? I said, for our responsibility to the society, to do something good for others. He said, listen, there's a big hole over here. Fill it up. Then talk about Chandaria Foundation. When you don't have anything in your pocket, how the hell do you want to give it to others? That's not a possibility. Yes, it's a possibility, but not now. Come on, get to work. And we said, well, the purpose of the whole is to have a focus within our organization, within the family, that if we create wealth, then we must remember that we have responsibility, not to ourselves alone, but the society at large. So it was a wrong shot, but we continuously kept on thinking about it. And then came 1956 when we had 500 people. And my father says, okay, here is 10% of our company. to Chandaria Foundation. The purpose was just purely to let everybody know, who starts the business, who are in the business, to know that besides ourselves, we have a wider responsibility. So we are one of the oldest foundation.
Okay.
But it was not done automatic. And why did it come to our mind? Because there was Gandhian philosophy within ourselves during our time. So we continued, because by 800 people can't be one product, so we had to keep on going and getting newer products, manufacturing newer products, getting to it. And ups and downs every day, you know. The day will be good, the day will be bad.
Yeah.
But we went through it.
Yes.
And then when Tanzania was getting independence, one of our advisors told us that, hey, if you want to survive, then you have got a good market now in Kenya, Uganda, then Tanganyika, Zanzibar, Ethiopia, Zambia. But all of these countries are going to get independent. And each one of them would want capital, not be your market.
Yeah.
So why don't you think about it, go and expand. So we heard that, wonderful, but you know, we were living in Mombasa and enjoyed it. Seriously, we thought about it, and then you go to the lighthouse in the evening, and just stroll over there, and have a little bit of mogo. And, you know, it forgot. But then after a year, it dawned upon us that this man, who used to be the Minister of Finance here, and he became the first Minister of Finance in Tanzania, or Tanganyika at that time, had something to say. And so we decided that we will have family members moved to these 5 territories.
Okay.
And that 5 years from 59 to 65 was so difficult. We were just walking on a razor's edge. You could fall here, you could fall there.
Yeah.
2 of the countries where the language was different. Ethiopia, the language is different. The administrative, legal, everything is different. And same thing go to Ethiopia, to go to Rwanda. Again, it was very different. We went to Burundi at that time. It was very different. So to cope up with this,